Kevin, how did it all begin? What's your story?
My story was pretty tough beginnings. So I'm dyslexic, but I didn't know it when I was in school. So I didn't do very well academically and always felt I was a failure, especially to my parents. It wasn't until I was 19 that I was diagnosed. So I suppose from there I've always wanted to achieve. And I remember in school telling my careers advice to Mr. Wilson that I wanted to be a millionaire. And his advice was, don't set your sights too high so that you won't be disappointed. So I wanted to prove him wrong. That was the first thing. And I wanted to prove the teachers wrong. Yeah. So they actually did me a favour, all of them, Mr. Wilson and the teachers, by telling me I was thick. Because I knew I was intelligent enough to get into business. It's just academia didn't fit with me. Yeah. So from there, I went then to agricultural college, because I'm from a farming background. Yeah. And then I brought the ideas home to improve the home farm, which didn't sit too well with my father. And we ended up having a big bust up. Oh. And I stupidly ran away from home, basically. And in 1984, when I was 19, I was on the streets then with no money. It's quite a mind-numbing and experiencing time for me. Got a job shortly after that, managing cows, and ended up managing a lot of cows for the same gentleman within 3 years. Then unfortunately my sister died, so it was another big pain. And I was 22 by this time, and she was 20. And I said to myself, I'm never going to waste a second of my time. I'm always going to do things that I enjoy doing. Yeah. And farming for me was just something I knew and I didn't really want to be doing for the rest of my life. So after making that decision, I was in the milking shed, putting the milking units on the cow over here, and the one behind lifted her tail and coughed at the same time. And all this steamy dung came across the milking shed, filled up my ear, and it was warm at the time. It wasn't too bad. It stunk though. It was the point when it went cold and went down the back of my neck, Charmaine, you know. That's when I made that decision to change. Yeah. And it was that moment where things started changing and the intention went out there to change. And although it was taking a few years, you know, it was starting to happen. So it really came from a direct decision from within me to do something different with my life. I think I got to where I am now by guts and determination. It's not easy becoming a millionaire or multi-millionaire, but I think when you never give up on stuff, that's when whatever's thrown at you, you drive through. And there's been some very hard parts to it all. But have you ever heard the term in the flow? You know, when you're doing the right thing. Yeah. And there's been some magnificent moments where I've been in the flow and I've known I've been on the right track. And I think knowing that is important. Nothing's easy, but everything's worthwhile when you smash through those problems.
Yeah. Can you tell us about what you do right now, what you do and how you do it?
Yeah, what I do now is mostly property-based. I'm one of UK's largest private sector property landlords. So we've got just under 800 units that we rent out. Wow. And we also trade in property and develop as well. And that started actually in 1999 after I won a scholarship to travel the world. Wow. And I interviewed some high achievers, and it was quite an eye-opener to me to realise that there was possibilities for everybody. Yeah. So it really got me kick-started, you know, and I found my passion in property. I like taking stinky, smelly houses and making them into nice places for people to live and either keep them or sell them. And in addition to that, we've got a few other trading businesses where we buy and sell. Yeah. So we're the middle person, and I believe that's always good positioning in business, not to be the primary producer or the primary supplier, but to place yourself in the middle, and it's worked very well for us.
Where can you see the Kevin Green empire being in 10 years' time?
Well, I suppose the empire takes secondary to family. My first wish is for my 3 children to be very, very happy, which they are, and continue their happiness and very successful in what they do. Yeah. Touch wood, they're doing extremely well. Daughter's 21 now, and my 2 boys are 19 and 17. And interestingly enough, I believe in systems in everything, and they're all born in February, the month of February, so there's even systems there. And it's the second will for me is to be in a position when I'm 62 years old, I'm 51 as we speak now, to have no debt whatsoever on any of the property portfolio, and not to own any of the portfolio. So it's slowly being put forward into beneficiary trust ownership for the benefit of my children.
So great plan.
So when I pass away, I basically want to own nothing.
Yeah.
And save the inheritance tax.
Outside of your businesses, what are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about people. I think that's what's made me successful. I care about people and what they do. The hardest part for me to learn has been people management within my business. They call me the head of happiness here.
Yeah.
Because all I go around to the team saying is, are you happy?
Yeah.
If they're not happy, I want to find out why.
Yeah.
Because happy people, obviously productive.
Yeah.
And the whole ethos of the team is better. So for me, my passion is, looking after others and empowering others. And I do that in quite a humorous way sometimes. And it's not about me, it's about them. And anybody's only as good as the people around them. So I'm very lucky with my team.
When you was growing up, who inspired you and why?
Two people inspired me when I was growing up. First, Richard Branson, because of his flair and the fun he has. And I realised since he's very good at PR, so that's why I recognised him quickly.
Yeah.
And secondly, Mother Teresa, for the way that she helped people. And I've always had that in me, of wanting to help others. So I wanted to be like those two people. I think giving back, or becoming a social entrepreneur, some people call it, is very important.
Yeah.
However, I must stress charity begins at home.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people giving back too early, time and money, when they can afford it.
Yeah.
So I concentrated on building up a very stable platform first, so that I could actually give back more. And it is very important to us to help others where we can. And it's not just money, it's empowerment. I've also got a training program which helps people into business.
Yeah.
And that's part of my give back to society.
Yeah.
And I think if you can help at least one person in your lifetime become very successful in whatever it is they want to do in life, and success doesn't necessarily mean monetary success, then I think you've done a good service to society.
What was the biggest challenge you've had to overcome throughout your whole career?
The biggest challenge for me to overcome was, first of all, my personal fear of failure. It was huge. I think, what was it? In the late 90s, something like that, I really wanted to do stuff,
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I won the scholarship in 1999, which is a Nuffield scholarship to travel the world, that I realised that I could do this stuff. And the monkey that was on my back, if you like, I wanted to get rid of it and actually start doing. And I'm lucky enough, I never get ill, fit and healthy, so I've got no excuses, and I'm reasonably intelligent, and I love to have a go at stuff. And I suppose the thing that turned it for me was reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And he mentioned in there that you don't want to be sat at the end of your life in your rocking chair at retirement, looking back with regret, saying, I wish I had, I wonder what if. So I pictured that scene and I thought, no, I want to be in my rocking chair, rocking it flat out, the steam coming off the rockets, going, yes, I've had a go.
Yeah.
So that really, amongst other things, that really inspired me into, pressing the start button and then just stopping talking about it and doing things, things that come from the heart.
Yeah. Can you share a nugget of wisdom for the budding entrepreneur?
A nugget of wisdom, I've always followed my heart before my head. So feelings come before thoughts for me. If it feels right, some people call it the gut feel, that goes a long way towards me doing it. So whatever the figures or other people say when you're looking at a deal, it's a gut feel I look at most. I think that's the advice I could give to others, is follow your instinct. Because the answers are inside you at the end of the day. Everybody looks outside for this magic formula, and actually you're the only person that's going to change yourself. I'll give you an example of really where it was made apparent to me. Sir Richard Branson, I was lucky enough to have him as my guide and mentor. And he said, if you recognise qualities in another that you admire, that means that's you. You've already got them. So I kind of mulled over that. It was a bit profound. And I wrote down 3 people that I admired and the 3 qualities that I admired in them. And then that actually was me, but I didn't realise it. And one of the things that I've realised, that self-awareness is the master key to success. If you can identify who you are, perhaps by that exercise, and then what you're good at and what you enjoy, sometimes what you're good at's a harder one initially to find out, but you certainly know what you enjoy, and then link that into commercial business, something that's your passion, or number of passions, then it works a lot better.
Do you believe You have to be an individualist to be a millionaire.
Absolutely. The individual thing is sometimes lonely, it's tough,
Yeah.
especially when you start out, because you're going to be seen to be weird
Yeah.
through the eyes of other people. I remember my daughter, when I first started on this trail of not having a proper job and actually getting into buying and selling houses, she said, "Dad, you're weird." And I said, "Thanks, babes," because I knew I was on the right track. You know? So what we're trained in school to be normal, to have a job, doesn't fit in the entrepreneur world. It's totally different. And you will be seen to be an outcast or an individual at the beginning. Conversely, that turns round. People like yourself approach me now and say, "How are you doing it? What did you do?"
Yeah.
And all the other people, they see the posh cars, you know, the Rolex watch or whatever it might be, the materialistic stuff.
Yeah.
And they see me looking quite happy. So we get a lot of questions then from the people who were the doubters in the beginning, who were really outcasting you because you were taking too much risk in their eyes, to now, well, how do we do it? How do we follow in your footsteps? So you have to be an individual at the start.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself and go and do it. If you listen to too many people, you'll do nothing. I work with Make-A-Wish children a lot, and they've got life-threatening illnesses. You know, they haven't got choices in life. We have.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
And I think when you make that conscious decision, you push your start button, nobody's going to stop you.
What would you say are the main elements for success?
I think the main elements for success is you must have had pain in your life. Myself included, when my sister passed away, or any entrepreneur I know, they've had massive pain. Sir Richard Branson, he was put down in school, you know, and despite that, we've all achieved. So I'm not saying, you know, you must inflict pain on yourself, but you must recognise that, you know, if the pain of where you are is not great enough, you won't change.
Yeah.
All right? If the pain of where you are is not great enough, you won't change. A lot of people ask me, like, I want to be like you, and you say the steps to it, but if they're not prepared to leave behind what they've got totally and move on, they'll never ever be successful, because they'll always be springboarding back into their old self.
Yeah.
So you have to make a cut off and say, I'm not prepared to continue with the old way. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Look, there's the results. It hasn't worked. Now I have to find a new formula to success. And you know my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
You are successful people and you emulate them. The clues are there, you know.
Yeah.
All you have to do is follow it. And it's not rocket science at the end of the day. It comes from in here. You got guts and determination.
Yeah.
And I think the pain that I've been through, as a result of that, you know, I've got more determined. And initially to prove people wrong. Now I don't have to prove to myself or anybody else, but it's just become a habit. I enjoy taking something and making something out of it, making it better.
What would you say are 2 personal habits that have served you well?
The first habit is the power of intention. And it's absolutely vital, the way you speak. You know, if you say, I want to be, or I'm going to be, or I'm trying, that's no good.
Yeah.
I am. This is what I'm doing. That's what I will achieve. It's using positive language and positive energy. Because the universe is a strange thing. It gives you what you deserve.
Yeah.
If you feel you're not quite there, it will always hold you not quite there.
Yeah.
So one of the bits of advice was from Sir Richard Branson, and he relayed to me what he did when he started out. And he said, even when he started his first storage business, he'd get his mum to answer the phone, his auntie, his neighbour, or anybody that called into the kitchen to create the perception of a massive empire, when it was only Richard.
Oh.
You know, and he never says, I do this business, it's we.
Yeah.
Because obviously creating that perception and believing in it. So I think you have to create that around you and believe in yourself that you will picture yourself in that moment of your first goal, whether it's on the beach drinking a mojito cocktail with all the money coming in, as it was in my case, or not, you know. You know your steps to achieving that.
Yeah.
And when you've got that positivity within you, within your energy, people will recognise that and they want to come on board. Universe recognises it. And what I call the power of intention. The power of intention is important. Yeah. You must truly intend, not just think you can do it, but know in your heart and soul. Yeah. Your feelings are in there, and your whole body, your whole energy is in there. And that's what's important. That's point number 1. Yeah. Point number 2 is follow through.
Yes.
You know, you must finish what you start.
Execute.
Despite whatever comes in your way. Because life's a strange thing. It will throw stuff at you and you have to sort it out.
Yeah.
You know, and it wouldn't be as exciting as it is if you didn't have obstacles, you know. So you have to smash through those damn things, whatever they are, whether it's people, work-related, personal problems,
Yeah.
which is the toughest one, you know, to grow as a person spiritually and enlightenment into yourself, you have to be really, really focused and focus on that goal. If you can't see yourself doing it, don't start.
What inspired you to write your book, The Rich Rules, Steps to Wealth and Happiness?
The inspiration to write in my book, first of all, I didn't know what the title would be. I knew more or less what the content would be. It came from 9 years of harassment from people telling me to write a book. Because I'm dyslexic, it's not naturally something I want to do. And the second thing was my granddad always said, you know, when you get successful, you know, keep your feet on the ground and keep a little bit quiet and humble about it. So I found it a little bit alien to want to write a book. But despite the 9 years in the making, I did it, and now I'm really chuffed. I'll write another one, you know, because the feedback has been fantastic, and I think it's a great way to share some of your knowledge and empowerment to help others follow in your footsteps. And The Rich Rules certainly does that. And I'm very proud of it. It's an Amazon bestseller straight away. And we self-published, so because I'm a control freak, a typical entrepreneur, so that we could maintain control of where it goes and what we do with it. And what I'm mostly proud of is Make-A-Wish Foundation, of which I'm an ambassador. It's the first time worldwide that they've associated with a book. And we give proceeds of the book to Make-A-Wish.
That's really awesome.
So, and it's actually 99 pence per sale, goes straight into Make-A-Wish. And we gift aid that as well, so we put another 20 to 25 pence on top. So it's I'm proud of that fact, you know, that it's helping others in many ways. But it was tough for me to write that, I can tell you.